Let's try something new. Let's go with travel stories or some kind of story about something that happened to you while you were traveling. And if you can do it on a video, then it would probably be better because stories are better on video, and also the rest of us don't have to read 10 tons of text. So I'll start off and we'll see if this works out. When we moved here to South Carolina, we moved here from Missouri. The company that we had hired to move our stuff was a private company. And once we got, they were supposed to arrive here just after we did. And then we get the phone call to find out that on the way over here, what had happened was the guy who was driving the truck with all our stuff in it had fallen asleep at the wheel, crossed the divide, and into oncoming traffic, and had himself a head-on collision with a double semi, which then went right through everything that we owned and kind of splattered it and the guy who drove the truck um, all over the side of the road in the great state of Alabama one late June. So I think I don't know if the guy lived or not. I know he was like in a coma the last time that I heard, but we were told that what had happened was that somebody, some salvage company or something, had come along and gathered up all the stuff that looked like stuff and just thrown it in the back of this other semi that they had pulled over there. And then we were, or me, I was supposed to go over and go through it and see what I could retrieve from it. One of the other interesting sort of things that happened was I'm like an amateur fossil collector. Anytime I travel anywhere in the world that there's like fossils, I'll go off and try to find them. And I guess none of them were picked up and put in the trailer because I guess they just look like rocks to um, whoever had picked up the stuff. So I still have this fantasy about like some geologist or paleontologist like hitchhiking through Alabama and going, what, this isn't supposed to be here, and then getting all excited about being famous about discovering some sort of new fossil bed in Alabama. Anyway, so I get out there and it's like late June. It's like 100 degrees in this unair conditioned thing in the sun, and it's like a 50-foot long trailer about waist deep in what looked like everything that I've ever owned, having been put through a Cuisinart, and it was all just kind of piled there about waist high and thrown into the back of this trailer. And so I spent like the next 2 days going through whatever to try to get whatever I could uh, recover from that accident. I mean, there wasn't a piece of furniture where there was anything bigger than like that left. I mean, it just like splattered everything. Um, so after 2 days of this, I had finally recovered what I could out of what was there, and I had lost like 10 pounds in water weight over like that 2 days. I mean, it was just like completely draining. And so I was driving back to South Carolina from Alabama, and I was just so drained by the heat and the working out there that I just couldn't make it anymore. So pulled pulled over and at some motel. I mean, it was a name motel, but I don't remember exactly which one it was. But when I got there, they were doing some construction. They were like redoing some of the rooms and stuff like that. And it was like an Indian family, like from India, family who had owned it because they were the ones doing the construction and they were the ones behind the desk and everything. And so, I just wanted a room to rest for like 8 hours before I got back out on the road. So I get the room key and I shuffle on over to my room, and then I was going to call up my wife and tell her that I wasn't going to make it home that day, that I had to stop and rest. But the phone cord was missing. The cord that goes from the phone to the wall was gone, and I'm not sure I've ever seen that in a motel before. And so I went over to the desk, and they seemed sort of concerned about that, and then they gave me a cord under the promise that I would bring it back to them when I got done with it. And so I took the cord and I plugged it in and I used it, and then took it back to them. Unplugged it from the wall and took it back to them. And they had a little TV in there that was like a real small little TV. I mean, about as small as you can possibly get. Like the kind that you might have in like your mobile home or something. And I was looking around for the remote for it, and I couldn't find it or anything. And So I was like, well, maybe they put it in the drawer. So I, start looking in the drawer of the nightstand, and it looked like, there's this, I opened up the drawer and there's like this thing that rolls out, and I'm like, oh, it looked like a bong, and I'm like, oh, somebody had a good time in here, and so I kind of pick it up, and then I looked at it, and it looked odd, and then I looked in the drawer, and there was like a little tube of something in there, and I picked it up, and uh, it was a lubricant for the penis enlargement device, which I was holding in my other hand. And I was like, ah! And I threw it down and went over there and like turned on the scalding hot water and like washed my hands for like the next like 3 days, and and scrubbed like 3 layers of skin off of my hands, and went back and took one of their towels and picked up the penis enlargement device and the little tube with it, and carried it over to the front desk. And I said, look what I found in my room. And the guy's like, thank you very much. And he pulled it down. And I'm like, I said, I hope this isn't like, some sort of commentary, because I mean, usually I just get like a mint on the pillow or something along those lines. And he just smiled. Thank you very much. So I think maybe I should have gotten like a refund, or maybe I should have like run from there at that point. But anyway, that's my crazy travel story. Um, let's see if we can get this going and other people to post some of theirs. All right, bye.